So what has yoga taught you?
It's taught me to be more intentional, be more positive. It's really helped me feel more confident in my own skin. It's really taught me to like let go of negativity and negative people and things I just don't have that energy for in my 30s at this point in my life.
Welcome back, ladies and germs, to another episode of 30, Flirty, and Surviving. I am Tracy, here with you each and every week. New episodes are Mondays at 9 a.m. You can catch them on YouTube, iHeart, Apple, Spotify, and check back on Instagram at 30, Flirty, Surviving for everything in between in the interim. I am here with you guys today with a new guest, someone that you may or may not know. I have been stalking her personally on social media for a very long time. We were able to connect a couple weeks back, but she is someone who her brand really spoke to me on Instagram. I adore her products, and I just felt like her messaging, what she was putting out there, was extremely relatable for everything we try to encompass and represent at 30, Flirty, and Surviving. So without further ado, I have Miss Kristin from Lazulz. Kristin.
Hello.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. Like I said, I think I manifested this. I stalked this. I was like looking at your Instagram and looking at all the jewelry for so long, and I was like, I think I'm just going to DM her. I felt like I was asking you on a first date when I was seeing if you were interested in joining. But you really inspired me because like I said, I loved your products, but I also could really tell from even just like the quotes you post on social media and the like sentiment behind each and every single one of your pieces. I was like, this girl has like, we vibe. I could tell right off the bat that like you were just very authentic, very true to yourself, and you also wanted to not only just like promote what you're doing, but like inspire others as well. And that's something that
I love that.
Always gets an A+ out of my book. So if you guys want to pause and go take a peek at her Instagram, it is at LAZULZ. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure they can like shop directly from the Instagram at this point, but they also can go to your website as well, which is just www.lazulz.com. So e-com on the website, and then also the Instagram, like IG shopping as well. You can see some of the products and stuff. Where else can they find it? Because I know that you're in some like boutiques in the New England area as well.
Yes. So they can shop directly on my website for all my latest collections. And I also sell at Thrive in Hampstead, New Hampshire, Salon Adoraville in Middleton, Mass. Bevel Label Boutique. It's an online clothing brand. Super cool. And the latest is going to be Unity Hot Yoga in Salem, New Hampshire, which I'm very excited about. Yes.
We're going to get into a little bit of how that like relates to everything later on down the road. But first and foremost, like congratulations and kudos to you, because that's a lot of different places that you are, you know, accessible in, and that's not an easy feat. So huge pat on the back, huge round of applause to you for that. I think it shows a lot of your dedication, your hard work. Before I start getting into my Q&A segment with you, I would love to hear from your own words just a little bit of a backstory about the brand and the company. We'll get into the origin story itself afterwards, but just like, if, you know, someone said, hey, Kristin, what do you do for work? Or like, tell me a little bit of brand. What is your like elevator pitch? What's your in a couple sentences, what is it that you do and what kind of products do you sell?
Okay. So I sell Evil Eye and gemstone jewelry. My goal is to empower women to shine good vibes into the world, showing up as themselves, unfiltered. That's my I
love that. Well, that's what I was saying to you about like your Instagram and stuff, because as much as you're promoting the pieces themselves, which are what I like about it, they're very like dainty and beautiful and delicate, which is like my vibe, because I think you need to like you want to wear the jewelry. You don't want always the jewelry to wear you. And so they're very gorgeous pieces, and that's wonderful in and of itself. But it's like like I said before, the quotes, the different, the captions that you post and the behind the scenes stuff. And I think it really is apparent how like girl power you are, and then also how like the sort of subsidiary layer to that is about the authenticity and being able to kind of let your true self shine, and why these pieces are a great addition to that. So I will say, from outsider looking in, you're doing a great job. Mission accomplished. Okay.
Good to hear.
So the company, you founded it in 2019. So you're going on just about 3 years now.
Yes.
Give us a little insight as to like where you were, what you were doing beforehand, and then how you got this business started.
Okay. So beforehand and still today, I've been in corporate America since I graduated college. I'm 35 now, but right when I reached that 30 mark, I felt like I need a bigger purpose in life. Like this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I went to school for art, and I knew I was meant to create something. I didn't know what it was. So I was trying to find ways to really dive deep and figure out what inspired me and what I could bring to the table for other women to inspire them. And then I thought about...
That's how I know we're going to get along.
Yes.
Yes, I like your mentality already. Okay.
Yes. So I'm like, what is the problem for women right now? Like, that's the number one thing is the business. You got to figure out what's the problem, how can I solve it, and create something.
Hell yeah.
So the number one thing is social media. I feel like social media is the number one thing that challenges women and myself to be down on themselves, always comparing yourselves to other people.
So true.
Challenging your confidence. And I mean, I look at how we grew up and social media was non-existent. Texting was foreign. Flip phones were a game changer.
Remember texting in like T9 word?
Yes.
And hiding it under your desk in class and just hoping the teacher doesn't like see you, and you're just like typing like 9999922 like 33. Those were the freaking days,
Those
man.
were the days.
I would go back to that in a heartbeat.
I would too.
Now it's like, do I go on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat? It's ridiculous.
It's crazy, and it wasn't that long ago.
It really wasn't. You're right.
And like back then, for like growing up as a teenager, all we had to worry about was like commercials and magazines and like these thin filtered Photoshop models.
But to your point, it was like we sought that out. So like if I wanted a magazine, I would have to go to the store and buy it. But like social media, it's right there. You pick up your phone and it's in front of your face. So it's less of an option to avoid it, which I think becomes such part of the problem for people is like, it's that constant comparison, that constant like, how am I measuring up? Because even when you're not seeking it out, it smacks you in the face.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And like seeing the new generation growing up, that's all they know.
You know? Oh my God, that breaks my heart.
It does. It's scary. And
I wish they knew a world.
I know.
Before.
And they're just being infiltrated with a misconception of how you should be or what you should look like. And like I think about my young nieces, like they have no idea what life is like without social media. And I don't want them to grow up thinking like, I'm not beautiful, I need this filter to look beautiful. You know what I mean? So that is what inspired me. And people...
So first was defining like the mission and like the purpose behind it was like, how can I create something that's going to almost like cause change and put change into effect in a positive way for women. And then subsequent to that was like, I'm a creative person. I have this art background. How can I include that and then insert the jewelry aspect?
Right. So a few years back, I was on vacation with my husband and I was just doodling eyes and stuff. What I've been doing that as a kid. I love wearing the evil eye, and something just clicked. I just had a moment. I'm like, I need to create something with the evil eye for women to feel more confident in their skin. And I started a vision board, and that's where it began.
I love that. And it honestly rings so true, because even when you go to your website or you go to your Instagram bio, it's, you put it right out there. Like, it's one of a kind customized jewelry. So again, that's like, hello, authenticity, being, unique, individual, staying true to who you are, because it's customizable, or it's, a one piece you can't get anywhere else. But then also it's, talking about empowering women and what everything the evil eye represents. And then right away, you also say, to help you embrace who you are, #unfiltered. So you do such a great job at encompassing all of that in just like such a short, sentence or two. And that's what catches certainly my attention, and I'm sure many of your customers' attention. But hearing it in depth and hearing you like kind of go through what that thinking process was like is really special. And I love hearing it from you and not just seeing it, on the website or on Instagram. It just makes it that much better. But I will say, the evil eye has been quite trendy, right? Yes. Like, we're seeing it in a lot of places. Jewelry, our nails. I had them a couple weeks ago. I put it all over my Instagram because I was obsessed that you have it now.
I know. I love it.
We're seeing it on t-shirts everywhere. I mean, I love it, but you did not choose this because of the trend. This has like a deeper meaning for you, more about like your origin and your culture, like, right? Like, so tell me a little bit about that.
So I'm Armenian, and me and my sisters have always worn the evil eye. My older sister actually bought me my first necklace in high school. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school.
Wait, hold on. We need to pause.
Yeah.
Where?
Presentation of Mary in Methuen.
Oh, yeah, that's in New Hampshire. Oh, no, Methuen.
Yeah.
Okay. I went to Notre Dame Academy in Hingham. Just give me like quick, like, what was your thoughts? All girls Catholic high school.
I loved it.
Shut up.
I loved it.
You did?
It?
Wait.
I did. But I was lucky. Both my sisters didn't love it like I did.
Really?
I think I had like the best group of friends.
Did you meet them when you were there? Or did you know them going into it?
I met them there.
Wow. I despised it. I cried probably every single day for my freshman year.
That's
and
horrible.
I got bullied, and it was a horrible experience for me, but my parents were like, you'll thank me one day when you get older. I'm still waiting for that day. But sure. Okay, great. Okay, well, anyway, that's unrelated to the content, but I just needed to know. Okay, as you were.
Yes. So, I mean, I loved it, but as you know, in an all-girls school, there's a lot of hormones and drama and energy.
And Tracy's eating their lunch in the bathroom stall.
Oh, no.
A lot of that
sad.
going on. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that like that experience it's shaped me into like wanting to empower women and like embrace women and like come together. You know what I mean? So I am. Parents are right. I'm grateful for it now. Maybe not in the ways that they anticipated, but I think it has given me a really great like background and notion for like how I want to approach my relationships and like my conversations with people in the future. So
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so that would like you really feel like that instilled your like that like female like culture for you and like wanting to embrace.
Well, that and like wearing the evil eye, like I'm a very reserved, shy person, and wearing that, especially in an all-girls school, made me feel more confident with myself. And
so you're saying that's what I needed all this time?
Yes.
Okay. So you've always been wearing it since like preteens, teens, like that's just always been a thing because of your Armenian culture. Okay. And what does it mean to the Armenian culture?
So, I mean, a lot of cultures, it's all the same thing. It's meant for protection, to ward off negativity back to the person that wants it to come to you. So, yeah.
I'm going to drop it in a couple people's mailboxes. Yeah. That's for sure. Still thinking about it. Graduated in 2009. I'm okay. Okay. So it being a strong tie to your like upbringing, that's when you finally had that light bulb moment of, this has been something that I've been wanting to do and create. Here's something that's familiar to me. So I know that I can bring these two worlds together and establish something that is obtainable and personal to me.
Right.
So it was the connection to both of those things, to what your purpose was or you're hoping your purpose to be, and then also just like who you were and how you grew up.
Right.
I love that.
But I wanted to make it different. Like, as you said, the Evil Eye is everywhere. There's millions of Evil Eye companies, and I really had to figure out how can I differentiate myself from other brands.
Absolutely. So right now, talk a little bit about like how many pieces you have, like what type of jewelry people can expect to see. Then there's also like sweatshirts and t-shirts. There's apparel as well. So
yes,
if I were to go on your website right now, what would I see?
I promote my everyday necklaces the most because those are my best sellers. I feel like everybody is always wearing necklaces.
Yeah, and it's like you can just like double up and like layer them. So I feel like necklaces are always great to have. Yeah.
Yes. So those are my best sellers. I have earrings. I have anklets, which are coming back into style.
Yes, thank God.
I know. I love them. I have some bracelets. I have accessories. I have these little, I love them. They're like little baby pins, or you can have a safety pin to put inside your clothing.
I love that.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, that's like not for like fashion purposes. That really ties into the like sentiment of just like it's hidden, but it's there for the protection.
Right. And a lot of cultures like do that. They wear them under their clothing for like their wedding day or.
Yeah, I'm Italian, and so I actually have on a safety pin a little charm of like the Madonna. Yep. So Mary, and it's like a little, I just can put it in the inside of my jacket, and so I get it. I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so a little bit of everything, and then the apparel. I think I might have cut you off. So sweatshirts, t-shirts.
Yep, I have sweatshirts, t-shirts, and tank tops. I have more coming in the future.
Yay.
Yes.
And what I love too is you also like you do a really great job at like polls and engagement, and so you ask for feedback. Like if I were to do a new sweatshirt this season, do you like this style versus this style? Is this color calling you or this color? So you really try to figure out what do the people want and like what is going to do the best, because you want to put out there what's attracting people the most.
Yeah.
So
well, I learned very fast at the beginning that my taste isn't everybody's taste.
Yeah.
So I try to do polls to get engagement and everybody's feedback.
And how often are you putting out new products?
I do it a couple times a month.
Okay, a couple times a month. Is it like, do you have more anklets in the summer? Is it like seasonal in a sense, or how do you sort of plan out the year or the quarter and what to expect?
So that's funny. I'm actually working with a marketing consultant right now who's helping me like plan out my collections better this year. So, I mean, summer like anklets and new bracelets that are coming out will be more popular. Necklaces are every season. Apparel based off the season. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I love that. And I think this is really important to point out because I think it just speaks volumes about who you are and your character and how hard of a hustler you are. But do you have a team that you work with? I know you're working with a consultant, but I'm talking about the jewelry and the brand itself. Do you have a team or are you a one-woman show?
So I am a one-woman show right now.
Snap, 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 snap. Hell yeah, good for you.
Thank you. But I mean, I truly believe in building your tribe, whether it's you're paying somebody or it's your husband, your best friend. I have an amazing support system, which have helped me through the whole thing. I mean, when I first developed this whole idea, my husband was the first person I went to, and he was like, "Go for it, you got this." And just having that,
Stan a supportive king.
Yes.
Okay, hubby. I love that. So he just like stood behind you and was like, "Go for it."
Yeah, 100%.
That's so important.
Yes, it is important.
So important. So he's not involved in like the business itself, but he was just like, whatever you need, like I am behind you, type of thing.
And he gives me advice. He sometimes helps me with packaging for events.
So, coming from corporate America, diving into this, excuse my frankness, but you probably didn't know shit about doing jewelry, huh? How'd you learn? How'd you figure it out? Where did you start? I mean, how did this all get going?
Well, I mean, my vision board is where I started, and I'm really good with like learning crafting stuff, and I just watching videos, teaching myself. But in my corporate job now, I've learned a lot about sourcing, which has worked out to my benefit. I've found vendors overseas that I'm working with where I source all my gemstones, my metals that I'm very intentional about choosing. And
don't worry, I have questions about that. They're coming.
Okay.
They're coming. But I think that that's really important to pause on that for a second and, not to diminish like a one-woman show or like a solo business owner, because yes, you're doing this stuff like out of your home or like in your free time if you're still working during the week with another job or like juggling many things, but yet you have vendors and manufacturers overseas who are like giving you products and things, and like it's a constant process of like moving parts and like it's not just like, oh, I'm just doing this out of my kitchen and it's this small little thing. I mean, it's really important to acknowledge and give yourself credit for how much goes into it in the back end as well, because I don't think that everyone at home or everyone that's a buyer or customer understands that.
Right.
We hear like shop
true.
small, and of course people want to support, but like it's not as small as you actually think it is.
I know.
You know
it's
what I
hustle.
mean? It really, really is. Okay, so you were talking about a vision board, which is like my favorite thing in the entire world. We love to put things on paper. We love to see things like with our own eyes and manifest them, bring them to life, which kind of brings in sort of the other aspect of your brand and who you are, and which is what I'm like dying to dive into as well. But yoga, the gemstones, crystals, what materials you're using, that almost like ties into a whole spiritual aspect of the brand on top of just everything else. Has that something that's always been important to you as well?
Yes. So before I started Lazulz, I was in that funk of my no purpose in life. My pity me party.
Party of one?
So with my husband's help, we both were like, let's change our lifestyles. Let's start working out. And I chose yoga. He chose CrossFit. And yoga has really changed my life, both professionally, personally, mentally. I don't know how to describe it, but a lot of my learnings with yoga has really come through with my business.
So what has yoga taught you?
It's taught me to be more intentional, be more positive. It's really helped me feel more confident in my own skin. It's really taught me to like let go of negativity and negative people and things I just don't have that energy for in my 30s at this point in my life. I don't know.
I cannot echo that enough. That is truly, it's almost one of those things that's like, it's inexplicable. It's almost like this like abstract notion. I cannot explain it, but like getting into this stage of my life, it's almost like I woke up one day and I was like, I have no patience for the BS anymore. The people, the negativity. If I feel like you are holding me back, if you make me feel shitty about myself, if you don't add to my growth, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And it's like the confidence in who we are, because we have gotten to really like know ourselves, to say, if you're not adding to my value or my growth, or you're not growing with me, then there's the door.
Yeah,
and it
bye.
really is so bye. Exactly. And I think especially if you're like, okay, I'm going to go after this venture. I have a husband. I have a home. I have a full-time job. I'm doing all these things. There is no room. There's no time in the day for all of that. And yeah, yoga is just like a great way to like zen, meditate, connect with yourself, your inner thoughts, and just like take a pause and take a time, a time away and a step back for yourself. And then the gemstones themselves, are you like a big crystal person? Are you like spiritual, into the earth? Where does that come into play?
So I am an earth sign.
Oh, you know, I love astrology.
Yes.
What sign are you?
I'm a Taurus.
A Taurus.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I have some concerns about Tauruses.
I have concerns too.
That's okay. I'm an Aries. No one likes me anyway. But Taurus is like traditionally pretty stubborn.
Yes.
But earth signs are really great signs. Do you feel like connected to astrology, and do you feel like your sign is pretty representative of who you are?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I must say that I think there's like, you know how with your sign, one can fall in one month and one can fall in the other month?
Yes. And you can be like cusps and all of that. Yeah.
So like I'm fully a April Taurus. I am not a May Taurus.
Okay.
I'm very into astrology.
Okay. Hold on. Are you do like the like air sign? I mean the like moon sign, rising sign, all of that stuff. You're into the whole thing.
Yeah, I need to get more into that
episode.
Yeah.
Okay. But so where does that like that comes into more of the materials you choose to help your like, or to like for the pieces for your brand, right? Like that comes into more of like, what do I want to utilize to again, like reiterate the message or reiterate what our purpose is here, and having it be more of like that holistic 360, like everything coming together,
right?
And being a little bit more cyclical, right?
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, well, you know, this is what I'm putting out there, but then behind the scenes, it's something totally different. Like, I think it's really shows a lot about who you are, that it's important to you to encompass everything.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so hold on. I want to ask you a little bit about getting started, because I also know from our previous conversations, and you know, I feel like it's the elephant in the room, but COVID, you know, 2019, you were barely off the ground before you all of a sudden got hit by this worldwide pandemic. And as I'm continuing to like bring guests on and talk about their experiences, how they got started, how they got going, I think what speaks to the audience like the most and what resonates with them is knowing that it's not this upward trajectory. It's not this like, I had this idea and everything fell into place and boom, here I am, success.
Yeah,
because
that never happens.
It's unrealistic, number one. And number two, not everyone's that lucky, right? And like, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of mistakes and failures and all of this stuff. And no matter how, you know, prepared you were, no one could have prepared for that. And so people get like tripped up because they don't even know where to start. You were in that boat and then you had to face this. So tell me a little bit about how COVID actually like impacted you and your business and what that time was like for you.
Okay. So COVID definitely challenged me personally for my business. I Did not have a website. I was only selling at a couple retailers, and I kept stalling that transformation for myself.
Okay.
I had a lot of self-doubt. I wanted to make everything perfect. I was like, no, I'll just wait. Let me just test this out. And then COVID happened, and it was like, surprise, you need to make this change. So I went live with my website, and I was pleasantly surprised at the amount of people that were like waiting for me to show up.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I started my Instagram and everything before my website, and everyone's like, when's your website coming out?
Yeah, they're
When's
like, come on,
out?
come writer, Letty. Like, let's get this going.
So COVID, I mean, it was horrible for inexperience for everybody, but going through that definitely helped me release that self-doubt and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think also it is a little bit comforting knowing, hey, I'm not the only person that's dealing with this right now.
Yeah.
But just like completely like taking the wall down for a minute and like being vulnerable, it probably took a ton of guts to get this started in the first place. And now you have all these people that are sitting there on social media being like, when can I buy? I'm waiting for you. And then this happens. Did you have that like, oh shit moment of like, what the hell was I thinking? I should have just stuck to my day job.
Yes.
You did. Okay. So like, I think that's important to talk about because clearly you've surpassed that. Clearly we're doing okay. But I think it's like important for people who are maybe in the same boat or like afraid of that happening to them to know that you can recover. B, other people have been there. So if you're comfortable with it, like explain to me what that felt like for you.
Well, before I went live with my website, I had oh shit moments. I still have oh shit moments.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
But I mean, I've realized that if your heart is really in it and you're very passionate about it, then go for it. And if you have an oh shit moment, just say oh shit and move forward.
I like that. Right? Just like don't let it consume you.
Yeah, and I mean that's with anything in life.
Yeah.
I mean, being a mom, being a business owner, a corporate job, whatever. I mean, it's just you're going to be faced with challenges throughout the way, and it's just how you face them head on. And
yeah, it's how you handle them. Yeah. It's not how many challenges that are under your belt. It's not like a competition in that sense. It's really about how you have gotten to the other side and how you've, overcome it. That's really the most important.
And they're all stepping stones for where you potentially want to be in life. So
absolutely.
Yes.
Something that I also think is extremely, extremely special about your company and your brand is that 5% of every order is automatically donated to the Veterans Yoga Project.
Yes.
Why is that particular foundation important to you?
Thanks for asking this question. So yes, this is two worlds colliding for me. My husband is a veteran.
What branch was he serving?
82nd Airborne Army.
Well, hopefully that he's going to, since he's been so supportive, I'm sure he's going to listen. So maybe he'll hear me directly. Thank you for your service. But if he's not into podcasts and he doesn't hear this, please thank him directly for me. That's really incredible. How long, is he still active?
No.
Okay.
He's inactive. And I wanted to donate to something that really meant something to me.
I mean, truly, how more perfect could this be for you?
So perfect. And I mean, veterans deserve thanks every day for all of the sacrifices that they have done for us. And I truly love this organization because it helps veterans heal in a way that is different, not just having to share their stories. It's helping them heal themselves. And it's
a different outlet. You know, you don't see that type of release for them all that often, right? They want to put them in like group therapy and there's like resources but like this is something where it gives them a different means to be able to do that. Clearly yoga is something that's always spoken to you and always been something that's important to you. How did you find out about this foundation?
I was doing research. There's these great apps if you're business owners listening through Shopify. If you want to donate, there's so many that you can donate to. And I searched yoga and military, and I found this one.
Wow. So. Well, how selfless of you.
Thank you.
Because, like, you know, like I said, I mean, that's still fairly new. You're doing this all by yourself for the most part. And still, even throughout it all, you're wanting to give back. So I just adore you for that. And certainly makes me, and I'm sure many of the people that are listening at home, want to just, you know, purchase even that much more. So speaking of which too, I mean, clearly you have a full-time job. You're doing this. You have a husband. You, like I said, have a home. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yes.
A lot going on for you. I imagine time management can be a challenge at time. How do you juggle it all?
Yeah, juggling is an understatement.
It's like 14 balls in the air. Sound about right?
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's just be more intentional with your time and what matters and what doesn't matter. I stopped like going out with people that I don't have the time to go out with anymore. I would rather spend my time working on my business or with my husband or family. And it just doesn't make me feel good going out drinking and partying anymore. So I'm just at a different
it's part of growing up, part of just being in this age. I mean, seriously, it's like it forces you to kind of rejigger your priorities.
Yes, 100%. And I love my calendar. I love my Siri reminders every day. I'm like saying, hey Siri, like 10 times a day.
I love that. Okay, so like those are the tools that you utilize is like your calendar, Siri reminders. Yes. Are you like I'm still very old school. I have like my agenda. I like to write everything out.
That you just said that. So in my history class, Mr. Clayman, if you're listening.
Shout out Mr. Clayman.
Mr. Clayman. He would be like, all right, ladies, take out your agendas because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is like resonated with me forever. It's so true. So I'm a big planner.
Say that again.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
I love that. Yes. I love that. I mean, if that doesn't motivate you and put the fucking fire under your ass, I don't know what does, right?
Yeah,
I love that. True. Yeah, I'm a big, like, I need to physically cross it off my list. Just for, like, deleting a little, like, event in my calendar, it isn't as satisfying. Right. And then there were the highlighters, the ink, the certain, like, you know, colored pens, like, all that.
Yep.
Okay, I love that. Just going back to, like, the basics once again before we start to like wrap up. If people are ordering online, what is a typical timeline look like? If are you making each piece per order, or do you have, you know, some things already in stock? Or like obviously there's things in stores at the boutiques, but if it's coming directly from e-com, is it like 2 to 3 days, a week? What does that look like?
Yep. So I give myself 2 to 3 days, depending on my capacity, and I ship with USPS, so it's just standard transit time in the mail.
Okay.
I'm working on a plan on international. We'll see. I have that that's on my vision board.
Yes.
There's a lot involved. Yeah.
Okay, 2022.
Yeah, we'll see.
Goes international. Perfect. And then also I had seen in the past that you had been involved in a couple other events. I mean, you are just like, you've got it all. I mean, we're donating to charities. We're in boutiques. We're e-com. We're events. You did like a holiday sip and shop with a couple other partners. Do you have anything on the vision board for 2022?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
But I am networking right now and trying to schedule more than I did last year. So once I do, they'll be on my website and I'll be promoting them on social media.
Okay, cool. So like nothing set in stone, but very likely there'll be some at a later point this year. And then what do people expect like at the events? Is it, obviously there's other brands or other companies there as well, but you'll have some of your like most popular pieces for purchase or okay, cool. Yep. Cool. Yes. Well, I love all of this. I truly, I can see the necklace you're wearing now. I love every single piece that you have. To bring it all home, there's so much, like I said, of your message that I think overlaps or relates to what we're really trying to put forth and represent with 30, Flirty, and Surviving. But if you were thinking about everything that you've gone through, the challenges, the highs, the lows, the ups and downs, if there's one person or a couple people at home right now listening to this and thinking, gosh, like I've been feeling stuck in a rut too, and like I've lost my purpose or I'm unsure of where to go. I know I have these capabilities that I'm not putting fully to use. I want to start a business, whatever it may be. What if you were speaking to them right now, what would be your biggest piece of advice and the thing that you'd really want to, get through to them? To encourage them and inspire them to do something like this as well.
Okay. I have a few points for that.
I love it. Give them all. Give them all.
Like I said before, if your heart is really in it and you're very passionate about it, go for it. Mm-hmm. I think that if you have the support system to like really support you throughout it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Lead with your heart. You got this. Don't be afraid to fail. You will fail at things. Mm-hmm. The number one thing that I learned is you're not an expert at everything. And if you try to do all of it, you're going to fail and get overwhelmed. So
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I highly suggest that you network and collaborate with people. Instagram is amazing. Like,
that's how I know you.
I know.
Like I said, I stalked you for so long. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Instagram.
No, but it's really great. It's amazing, like how many people that you can meet and just ask questions and bounce ideas off of each other. And I still do it. There's this one jewelry brand called Luxa Jewelry. She's friggin' awesome. I met her at one of my shows, and I still DM her on the monthly, asking her random questions about business stuff, and she's very supportive and great.
I love that, and it truly is like it's all about like building a community and like working together. I think like I feel like a broken record, but again, it comes with age. I mean, when we're younger, it's so much more competition. It's so much more like women pitted against another woman, like girl versus girl, and like as we're developing and maturing and we're embracing this new chapter in our lives, when we work together, so many more amazing things happen than when we work against each other.
So true.
And yes, your family and your friends, that close-knit support system is always going to be fantastic, but like not being afraid to like put yourself out there and say like, hey girl, like just introduce yourself and just say like, hey, I'd love to chat or pick your brain. Like, I think that that's so intimidating for a lot of people.
It is.
Because they're not sure if they're going to be met with like pessimism or a little like skepticism. But like, if we all just help each other out, you can't lose.
I know. I mean, there's going to be people that say no or completely ignore you, but it doesn't hurt to ask the question.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, well, wonderful. Well, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and talking all about your experience and the brand. Before I let you go, is there anything else that I have not asked you that you think is just important for folks to know about you or the company itself?
No, I think we
covered it all. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, then with that being said, again, you guys can go and check out her Instagram and see a ton of the pieces at Lazulz. Nothing else. No underscores, no numbers, no nothing. And then you can also go to www.lazulz.com as well. And I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much, Kristin, for joining me. Thank you for coming all the way down here.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.